both judges look ready now? All right, fantastic. Are you? Let's go ahead and get started then. There you are. It's dark. There's no light at all. Suddenly, the air erupts into music and you hear applause from people unseen. And a massive red curtain is raised to reveal a full house. A beam of light is turned towards you. And it's your time to shine. It's your turn in the spotlight of the stage. That is the kind of rush that I love most. The stage, musical theater. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. What musical theater means for me and what it can mean for you. And by examining my past as a young child, my present as a young adult, and my future as a hopeful college student, we'll see that musical theater has something to offer you no matter what stage of life you're in, and why everyone should give theater a try or go out and support their local theater. Now, if there are children in your life that you want to have confidence in themselves, then the theater is definitely the place for them. Now, I'll admit, when I was a younger child, I was pretty unruly, to say the least. But in my first couple of shows, I learned something. I learned that it's okay to make mistakes. And that's the kind of confidence that the musical theater builds. In fact, according to the education journalist Valerie Strauss, by participating in musical theater, children gain confidence. She writes that this is because they are able to make mistakes in rehearsal and learn from those mistakes. And this gives them the confidence, she writes, to perform in front of large audiences. Now, not only was I an unruly child who was afraid to make mistakes, but you can ask my mom, I did not listen. I didn't want to listen to anyone. But in my first couple of shows, I learned that you can't get by in life by doing that. I learned in my first couple of shows how to follow directions from someone who wasn't my mother. This is a very important skill indeed, especially for homeschoolers. And according to the American author and education journalist Haley Scheffler, this skill, the focus and the concentration and the listening, not only develops in young children by participating in the musical theater, but it flows into other aspects of that young child's life. And according to Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is simply limited to all that we'll be able to understand, all that we'll be able to know. While imagination, it embraces the entire world and all that they'll be able to know and understand. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is not only do young children gain confidence in themselves, not only do young children learn how to listen, but the musical theater fosters that young child's imagination. They began to realize that anything that they can imagine can come to life before their very eyes on the stage. But not only that, they're able to see classic literature like Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist or Victor Hugo's Les Miserables come to life before their very eyes. And this gives them a better understanding of the story itself. Now, it's clear to see that young children stand to gain a lot in the musical theater, but it's so much more than learning. When that young child grows up and becomes a teenager, the theater will open up an entirely new world to them. Because some of you at this point might be wondering, well, Adrian, I don't have any young children put into the musical theater, so I obviously must be too late. Well, that's simply wrong. You see, I'm currently a member of Christian Youth Theater, or CYT, in Tucson, Arizona, where I live. Now, CYT is also a nationwide organization with 25 branches nationwide, ranging from places like San Diego, California, to northern Idaho, to New York City. And last October, I finished up my 5th show with the group, Superman the Musical, where I had the privilege of playing the Man of Steel himself. Yeah. Now, you see, not only have I been able to develop my character on the stage, but that's not the main focus of CYT. CYT is more dedicated to the character off the stage. In fact, CYT's mission statement is this. CYT is dedicated to developing character in young adults, in students, and adults alike, all of which reflect wholesome family entertainment and Judeo-Christian values. So basically, CYT is a safe environment where I've been able to hone my skills on and off the stage, but I've also been able to make some friends that will absolutely last for the rest of my life. And because CYT is a Christian-based organization, this means that the directors will normally hold this faith and will absolutely reflect in their decisions. This means that the children won't have to do anything uncomfortable. This means that they're able to experience the real world without the risk that the real world poses. But not only that, CYT is much more than just trying to make sure your kids are good actors and make sure they're a nice person off the stage. It's actually in their core values and their objectives. CYT has 5 objectives, none of which are focused on the theater, because that's not what CYT is there for. Let's just go on and examine the first 2. The first objective of CYT is to make sure that children not only respect themselves, but respect other people. That is their first objective. And their second objective is to give the individual respect, but not only that, but to build confidence, integrity, and discipline in the students. Now, not only have I been able to get a really good character on stage and off stage, but by participating in the musical theater, I'm also becoming a better student. There are many studies, all of which reflect a significant link between the arts education and educational success. To be specific, on the most recent SAT, students who were developed in arts coursework, arts experience, specifically the stage production, outscored non-art students by an average of 65 points on the verbal component and 34 points on the math component. And that part, my mom absolutely loves. But it's not only that I'm becoming a better student, the skills and the knowledge that I'm developing in the musical theater will absolutely go into the future. Now, speaking of the future, let's go ahead and talk about that. Because of my love for the musical theater, I absolutely plan on pursuing it into college. Right now, my current plan is to get a degree in broadcast journalism and a minor in the theater arts. Now, you might be thinking, wait, Adrian, you're telling us how amazing the theater is, but that's not even going to be your main degree. Well, that's because I want to take the skills that I developed through the musical theater into the business world of journalism. And if you were going to look at the words of Haley Scheffler, she's the president and founder of Arts Bridge. And what she states is that a stage production is basically a business project. You have multiple teams of people all making up one team, working towards one goal, to finish that goal on time and on budget in such a way that it'll earn the applause and the occasional standing ovation. She writes, for me, standing at the helm of a theatrical production was a business management practicum. So let's say you or your children or your loved ones or your families don't want to run off to Broadway for your job. That's totally fine. But that doesn't mean that my speech isn't meant for you. The skills developed through musical theater absolutely influence every aspect of one's life. In fact, people like former United States Representative Fred Grandy and former United States President Ronald Reagan all started out as small-time stage actors before moving on to bigger things. So let's go ahead and say for a moment now that you're not interested in joining the theater. You have stage fright, you don't have the time, you don't have the energy. That's absolutely fine also. But that doesn't mean that my speech isn't meant for you. Like I said, CYT is a nationwide organization that has 25 branches. And the skills that the children develop through CYT is absolutely a worthy cause. And for that, we should all make an effort to go out and support them. But it just won't be supporting the children. You actually gain something just from sitting and watching a theatrical production. In fact, a recent study from the University of Kansas agrees with this. They write that sitting and watching a theatrical production gives you more empathy for the story, gives you more literary merits, gives you more knowledge of the story, gives you a better understanding of the story, and it says it does all of that more than reading the books or watching the movies. For me, musical theater is obviously a very important part of my life. And by looking at my past as a young child, by looking at my present as a young adult, and by looking at my future as a hopeful college student, I hope to convey the message to you that the musical theater has something to offer you no matter what stage of life you're in, and why everyone should go out and give theater a try or support their local theater. Now there you are. The orchestra's dying down. The spotlight's still on you. The ring of applause still in your ear as you take your final bow. And the curtain closes, bringing a close on your performance. Thank you very much.